So I want to talk about the process of putting a home on the market, successful planning, pre-marketing, what to do before you list. There's a lot that can go into this, and I'm not going to cover everything here because that could be a show in and of itself, but I'll give you an example. I am now about to list and sell the 6th home on the same street in a neighborhood in Mount Pleasant. We've had 5 separate sales, each with their own individual success story, of homes that, have an average days on market of, about 4 months. And we've sold a few of them in a week or less. We've sold a few in a month or less. One took longer than expected, but we got through it. We got it done. But what leads to these success stories? When you talk to real estate agents, they always like to brag about the best of the best, and they want you to believe that that's the norm. Hey, when you list with me, it's going to be sold in 8 days for 102% of asking price. Give me a break. That's not reality, especially if you're doing volume. We sell over 100 homes a year. There are going to be plenty of instances in which sellers don't want to sell that quickly. They want top dollar for their house, and they're okay with waiting to get that price. It's not my prerogative to necessarily maintain stats by only selecting people that want to sell their home immediately. The stats look good. I mean, our stats are better than the market average in every single category. And it's because I believe we're good at what we do and we know the market and we consult appropriately. But there are different reasons for selling that ultimately result in different stats. And so we're not going to talk so much about stats this segment. What I do want to talk about, however, is how we approach helping somebody get their home on the market. And I will say this first. The more time you can give us, the better. When you rush things, which we have the ability to do, we can expedite the process. We can get a home on the market and get it sold and get you on your way. But there aren't a ton of people out there that have that need, quite honestly. There aren't very many people out there that say, hey, I need my home sold yesterday. Can we get it on the market and get it sold and get me moved in the next 30, 45 days? We've done it. We've done it plenty of times. In fact, a third of the listings we sell in a week or less. Another third sell in 30 days or less, and then the other third sell 30 days or more. Again, because there are just varying degrees of motivation when it comes to selling your house. And so when we meet with these folks and we talk about things, it's always challenging, and it always just kind of gives me a little heartburn when somebody says, so we were going to call you earlier, but we wanted to do some things around the house before we had you over. And, I get it. People are always concerned about showing their home to the agent that they ultimately hire in its best light. They want they want it to be deep cleaned. They want the paint to be touched up. They want the house to be as close to perfect as possible. And I'm just here to tell you that no matter how bad your home might look, in your opinion, I promise you I have seen worse. And if you want to challenge me on that, you have a very high bar to get over, because I have seen some incredibly ridiculous properties in my time. I've seen well over 10,000, maybe 15,000 properties at this stage in my career. There's really nothing that you can show me that's going to surprise me. And so the reason I say that is I want to help you plan to sell your house. And so when we walk through it, I want to tell you, hey, these are the things that you should focus on. These are the things that you should do. These are the things that you can do. And then these are the things that you should not spend your time and money and resources on. It's just not worth it. It's not going to help you. It's going to make you feel good, but it's not ultimately going to result in either two things, which is what we're after: more money or a faster sale. And so when we walk through these homes, we provide a very detailed list of what can be done. And, obviously it's great when you walk through a home and there's really not much you need to do. I don't have to play the role of stager or decorator. In fact, I don't do that anyways anymore, because we have a professional designer and decorator that walks into our listings and goes through every single room with our clients to say, do this, do that. You should think about doing this. Don't do that. It's a waste of time and money. And I can't tell you how incredibly impactful that is on the process of selling a house. But you have to allow a little time for that to happen. So the more time you can give us, the better as it relates to staging and preparing your home for sale. And so I have a e-guide that I wrote personally, which is a collection of my experiences and things that have worked really well for us in the past. But it's 90 things you can do to sell your home for top dollar. And if you'd like a copy of that, and it's a short read, I think it's like 12 pages, 15 pages. But if you do everything on that list and you price it appropriately and you hire someone like me that knows how to market a house and get it sold, you're not going to fail. You're not leaving anything to chance either. And there's going to be more effort put into it in the front end. But that's what leads to a successful sale, especially this time of year, especially when there's market uncertainty like we were talking about last segment. And so if you'd like a copy of that, 90 Things to Do to Sell Your Home for Top Dollar, send me a text or call me. The number is 843-400-8009, 843-400-8009. Just text the word guide. I'll know what that means, and I'll get that right over to you. Or you can just email me, and I'll reply to the email and send that guide right over. No strings attached. My email address is brian@BrianBeattyTeam.com. That's Brian with an I at BrianBeattyTeam.com. Beatty is spelled Beatty. And so when we're walking through and we're talking about, okay, staging and decluttering is one thing, but what about repairs? What about small little renovations? I'll tell you a perfect example and how this has changed over the years, because we're not in as hot of a market as we used to be. You have to take that statement with a little bit of a grain of salt because the market is vastly different depending upon the area and the price range that your home is in. But let's just use the classic example of, my carpet is old, it's dirty. I've tried getting it professionally cleaned, and it's just not looking great. So I know that's going to come up to a buyer. Let's just give them a credit. And for several years, that's been the solution is, hey, we'll just give them a credit. Now, as properties start to linger on the market a little bit longer, as inventory becomes a little bit more reduced, interestingly enough, buyers are becoming a little pickier about the properties that they choose. And so when they see something like carpeting that needs to be replaced, more often than not, if you have the ability to do it, my answer now is to say, hey, let's remove that objection. Because here's the reality. A very large percentage of buyers out there have difficulty imagining what your home is going to look like with dingy carpet as opposed to new hardwood floors. And, the idea of putting new carpet in and replacing it with old carpet, it can work if that's the norm for your area. But if you want to impress a buyer, you want to sell it quickly, you want to make a little more money on the sale, hardwoods is the way to go, and they're affordable. And we've got guys that can install them for like $1.25 a square foot, which is inexpensive. There are plenty of companies out there that are charging $3 a square foot. And so we offer this concierge level service where we walk through the house, we determine what needs to be done to prepare it for sale. And for those that have the budget to do it, we can make the repairs. We can use my list of contractors, unless you have somebody that you know, like, and trust. But my guys are vetted. They're incredibly good at what they do. They represent the best of the best. They're affordable. They're trustworthy. And they give us a discount because we send them a lot of business. But if you don't have the ability to pay for it, we also have contractors that will do the work and collect payment at closing. How awesome is that? So just be thinking about things like that when you get ready to put your home on the market. And before you call the real estate agent to say, hey, we're ready to put our home on the market, call the real estate agent to say, hey, we're thinking about putting our home on the market, and we want to discuss the best way to approach this process. And so when we come back after break, I want to talk about the benefits of working with an agent for that, few weeks or few months or maybe even half a year. We have listings that we've signed that aren't going to be on the market for half a year, but there's some benefits that come along with that. And I want to tell you more about that when we come back. But again, if you'd like this copy of the 90 Things to Do to Sell Your Home for Top Dollar, feel free to call or text me. The number is 843-400-8009, 843-400-8009, or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com, and of course you can send me an email, brian@BrianBeattyTeam.com. Stick around, folks. A lot more information coming your way as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Stay tuned.